Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. It's your host Peter, otherwise known as Cyber Dragon. Today we are going to be doing something that no one else has been able to figure out yet, and that is to make the rule system communicate with the quest system in a multiplayer experience, which allows you to get a result from the rule system to trigger a message in the quest system to complete the quest for the individual. So everyone has their own individual quest, and to be able to complete the quest based on the rules. It's not going to be the end-all solution. It is a workaround, and there will be limitations, but I can give you a bit of an idea of how to accomplish it, and maybe you can tweak it to fit your for your game, or it may not just work for your game at all. But yeah, I'll show you what I've done, and yeah, hope you enjoy. GM to everybody in chat, good to see you all here. So I have spoken to a few members in the community about their sort of workarounds, or if they've tried to get the rule system to chat with the quest system, and there hasn't been really a successful solution for this. Just bear in mind though, this is a temporary workaround. When 0.11 comes out, maybe in a couple of months or so, the rules will absorb the objectives, so all the quests will be inside the rules system, so there won't be any issues in 0.11. This is temporary, so if you want to do stuff in the builders challenge or things like that, this may be useful for you. Cool, let's jump straight in, and let's set up a quest, I guess, an objective. Nice and simple. Quest 1, do the thing, and we'll make that unlock straight away. We'll wait for a message, so when a certain message is received, we'll complete the quest, and that will be quest 1. Yeah, just quest.1, that will do. And completion doesn't really matter. So what we are going to see now is when the game begins, we're going to see the quest start straight away, and it will only complete when it receives the message quest.1. And to test this in multiplayer, we want to click this button up in the top right corner and make sure the multiplayer is ticked. And then when you do tests, it will act like it would in a client. So you want to make sure when you do multiplayer tests that this is activated. Cool. So if we go ahead and press tab, you can see the quest start straight away. Cool. All right, that's pretty easy, straightforward, right? Better save that. Next, we want to create some things in a rule system. We're going to do a couple of variable setups and HUD setups so we can visually see what's going on. Alright, so in the rules we want to do game screen and HUD. We also want to do events and on player join. So on player join will send a message as soon as the player joins. The message we want to send is HUD. We want to send that message HUD to the HUD, so it displays straight away. As soon as the player loads in the game, there will be some UI displayed. Next, we want to create a variable. That variable can be a number. We do have global and we do have local. What we're going to do here is a local number, and it will be 0 by default. And we want to display that here. and that will be a local number for the player. Now if we go ahead and press tab just to check what has happened, you can see as soon as the game starts, we have our quest and we have our local number in the top left corner. Awesome. Now there is something I wanted to test out. So with the avatar portal, we can assign a team. We want minimum players of 3. I hope they change that in the future, so it's just 1. And we can just say team 1 and the tag will be 1. We're going to go ahead and add a feature, and that feature is going to be play sound, and that play sound will be on start, and the message to send will be interact, and this will be picking up a pickable, and the broadcast type will be specific tags in range. We can go ahead and make that as big as we want, and the tag we want is we'll just say for pickable, we'll just say pick 1. Awesome. Now we'll go ahead and put something down that we can pick up. Something basic. Doesn't really matter, right? All it does when it's that big. This one here. This one I like. It's a good size. We will have no collisions, and we'll go ahead and put a pickable on it. And we'll give it the tag pick 1, and we'll go ahead and just see if that works as intended. Yep, so it's picked up the pickable. Awesome. Next we want to do is a message on pickup, right? Message on drop, message on pickup. We can say number, and then we'll put message argument. We'll go ahead and put a number. We can just say local number so we know what number we're looking for, and we can go ahead and just put any number here. So if we do say 2, now we need to put that in a rule system. So we'll go to the rules, and what we can do here is we can have a set number value, and that number value will be number, and we want to set our local number with whatever the message argument is. So all we're doing is we're setting a number value, we're setting our local number, and it's going to be whatever is in the message argument. So our message argument is sending a number 2. So if we go ahead and press tab and see if this works. You can see now our number in the top left corner is number 2. So if you're going to have a team of 3, because that's a minimum, you want to pretty much separate these pickables. So they're all going to be pick 1, but if we duplicate, make this send 1, and duplicate and make this send 3, and depending on what is picked up is going to be a different number. So this one is 3, and that was the middle one here. Okay, let's try that again. So the local number here is not going to be the one that you pick up by the looks of it, even though that's very interesting. Did not know that. So I just learned something new there. I was hoping if you had a team of 3 that these will individually give you a different one depending on whatever it latches. What I did for my game is I did 20 avatar portals. So I did team 1, team 2 with tag 2, duplicate team 3 with tag 3, and I just went ahead and did that 20 times. So when the instance is full, everyone has their own unique number. And this is the workaround I did. So as you can see, teams need a little bit more refining. because yeah, this one here doesn't give the number of the actual object that was picked up. It seemed to be one of the random ones around it, which is kind of weird. Wondering if it could be a possibility to work around that, but we can move on and come back to this later on, so I can show you the primary stuff and we can do the experimentation later. So we got Portal 2. As you can see here, we go to play sound and we're just going to change the tag to pick 2, and we'll go ahead here. So this one's pick 1, as you can see the tag at the bottom. Pick 2 will have the pick 2 tag, and this one here, the pick 3, will have a pick 3 tag, and so forth and so forth. We'll just make sure it has it here. And we'll go ahead and get rid of these for now, and we'll just do the example of just 3. But just bear in mind, with the teams, we're going to have to work out a new situation for that one. But the principle will be the same. We just need to discover a different type of workaround. You can probably do that with spawn in. So when the player spawns in, we can then trigger a asset spawner. So let me give you an example here. So we have team 1 tag 1. So if we go ahead and put a numpad down, we can go ahead and put a speaker on it, or a volume. Doesn't really matter here. I prefer speaker if you want to do the only once, but it won't work in this case. And the tag we want to look for is specific tags in range, and the tag we want is 1. When we detect the 1, we can go ahead and spawn 1 pickable. And then all you do here is add an asset spawner, give it the message we want, and we'll make this a preset. And this is the thing that will come out of the asset spawner as a preset. And we'll delete these 2 for now, and delete this one as well. So there's no pickable, but when we spawn in at number 2, we spawn in at number 3, and now we spawn back at number 1. So you can see we spawned at number 1, and we've picked straight away this pickable, and that is now our local number. And you can see we can spawn a second one, and it spawned a second one because I went in and out of the speaker. But this is just probably a workaround that you could play around with to try to get the same team to have individual numbers. That's the purpose of showing you that part. But let's go back to our example here, and we'll go ahead and duplicate and give it back its original tags. So now when I spawn in number 2, it will pick up the middle one and give me the local number 2. Cool, all of that works. We'll go ahead and save that, and we'll move on to the next part. Alrighty, okay, so we want to generate something in the rules that will trigger something external. So I'll go ahead and get our numpad again. Let's use the golden numpad, why not? And here we're going to have it's going to be an asset spawner, but make sure you pick behavior. Cool. And the message here we're going to trigger from the rule system. And this is the thing we're going to use to bring it out. We can also have toggle, and we can also add a trigger. And we'll come back to this in a moment. We'll go back to the rules. Actually, we need something to interact with the rules. So we'll go ahead and get a panel. And the panel will just have a, I don't know, we'll have a message broadcaster. We'll have interact. And we'll do all, and we'll just say RNG. So each time we press E at the panel, it will send a message RNG. We'll go to our rule system, and we'll add a rule, and that rule will be a, where's our RNG? Roll a random number. We'll send a message RNG, and it will be the minimum value between 1 and say 4 or 6, whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. And now we need a global variable called RNG. Awesome. Okay, once we have our role, we're going to do check result, and we check result with comparisons. So we're going to do check result, we're going to check RNG, and if it equals to 1, we send the message RNG1. We can duplicate that, and if it equals 2, we'll send the message RNG2. We'll duplicate, and if it's 3, send a message RNG3. And the last one here is 4, and we'll send a message RNG4. Alright, so we've got all our values taken care of. We also want to see our value here. So go ahead and add RNG so we can see what we're rolling. Now let's test that out. Okay, so since we're holding a local number, we can't really press E at the panel because it's just dropping our pickable. So what we can do here is send a message trigger interact, and we can send a message based on drop-in. So message on drop can be trigger interact, and we can just make it in a small area around the pickable, and we'll just say -1 and -0.5, something like that. Alright, so now when we have our pickable and we press E near the panel, you can see now it's triggering our RNG because it's sending a message when it drops. Cool. Now we want the quest to complete if we roll a number 4 or roll a number 1 or whatever the case may be. So something from the rule system will be sent out, and something will trigger that will then complete the quest. Now at the moment, if you spawn something from a multiplayer asset spawner that has a volume, and it's a single player volume that comes out of a multiplayer asset spawner, you'll find that it doesn't work. It doesn't trigger the rule system. It kind of like ignores the fact that it is a single player behavior. So I'll go ahead and show you an example of this. So we've got our asset spawner. Our asset spawner will be spawn asset, and we'll bring that over here, and this is the thing that will spawn asset. So when we drop our thing here, we send a message spawn asset, which will go to this asset spawner, and we need to bring out something. So go ahead and duplicate, and we'll make this one the single player asset spawner. Volume, trigger volume, and we want the message quest.1. So with quest.1, we'll make that a box, and we'll make it small. So when we walk into this box, it will send a message quest.1. So I'll go ahead and press tab. And if I walk onto this numpad, you should see quest 1 complete on the right hand side. See, our quest is now complete. That's because it's using a single player volume, and the single player volume communicates with the quest system. Cool. We'll go ahead and save this as a preset. Now, if we take this exact same volume and bring it out of a multiplayer asset spawner, you would think it would trigger exactly the same way as you saw just now. But you'll find that it's not the case, and this is the limitation or the wall that most people run into when they're testing this out. So if I go ahead and press E, you can't really see it spawn because it's spawning on top of each other. So let's just bring it out into the air so you can actually see that something was spawned. So you can see now that's the single player volume, and when we walk over to it, it's not triggering the quest anymore. So even though it's single player, when it comes out of a multiplayer asset spawner, it doesn't work. And the rule system doesn't spawn anything from a single player asset spawner, so it has to come out of a multiplayer asset spawner. So that's a limitation at this stage, but we can bypass that, and that's what we're going to look at today. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is we're going to change this to RNG 4. So when 4 is rolled, it will bring out this asset spawner. So let's test that out. And we're going to roll here by pressing E, and you can see in the left hand corner our results, and we're going to do it until 4 comes out. And as you see, now we've got 4, the asset spawner has triggered. That's because it's multiplayer. Awesome. Alright. Now let's leave that one there for now. You can toggle this off and on and all this stuff here. You don't need this stuff, but toggling off is important after you achieved it once and you don't want to achieve it anymore, or you want to turn it on when the quest begins because you don't want it on beforehand. So use the toggle as you need to. Alright, next what we want to do here is we're going to add some rules. And the rules we're going to add is with the RNG 1, 2, 3, and 4, we probably want to add a message here in between. So RNG 4, what we're going to do here is add a message, and this message here will be RNG 4, and here we're going to maybe do spawn player volume. Alright, so next we're going to do a comparison again. So once we rolled number 4 it's going to send a message to this comparison, which doesn't really compare, it's just more like a circuit breaker. And then we have a spawn player volume gets sent out. We're going to do a compare numbers. And what we're going to do here is we're going to compare the local number. And if our local number equals to 1, we're going to send trigger 1. If our local number equals 2, we're going to send the message trigger 2. And we're going to do that for 3 of them because we've only got 3 asset spawners. And depending on our number, this will spawn. So if we were, our local number was 1, once we do the roll, it will check to see what our local number is. And if our local number is 1, after we rolled 4, it will send that specific message out. Okay, so let's change this one here to say trigger 1. So now if I go to the first avatar portal, our local number should be 1. Cool. And if we roll the number 4, you can see it's now spawned our single player volume. Cool. Now if I did it again, but my local number is 2, and I rolled until 4 pops up, you can see it's not spawning. That's because my local number is 2, so it sends the message trigger 2, but we only have the message trigger 1 set up, so it is looking for the player with the local number 1 in order to trigger this. So you can see already we have a uniqueness of who can trigger something from a rule system to spawn a specific asset. Hope you're following so far. Alright, so where's this unique quest system triggering kick in? Alright, so this is where we move on to the next part. So what we want to do here, instead of bringing out our volume trigger, what we're going to bring out is a tag. So we're going to make this no collisions, and what we're going to add here is basically just a tag. So we'll just say tag, let's just say tag 1. So we've got a tag 1, and with this tag 1, we can, look, you don't even need to put any behaviors or components. It's not really a single player or multiplayer thing, but here we can just have a timed event, and I'll show you why I use this single player timed event later. But say after 3 seconds you want to say kill health, and we will put it on the self only. And what we'll do here is we'll add a plant, and after 3 seconds it will send a message to itself to remove itself, and we got our tag. So go ahead here and say tag. We'll save that as a preset, and this is the thing we're going to spawn out of this multiplayer asset spawner. So we're going to go ahead and bring out the tag, and this thing will come out. It will do a timed event trigger straight away. It doesn't really need to wait for a message, and then after 3 seconds it will send a message kill health to self to remove itself. But we have a tag called tag 1. Alright, so that's that done. Next we want another trigger volume. So we'll go ahead here and make this one, we'll just remove these things just so it's clear, and we'll go ahead and we'll add a volume for this one. And for this one here, we can do team in range, or you can do tags, and you can just make this cover the whole map. So when it comes out, the whole map is covered in one big volume. So wherever the player may be, it's covered, right? You can make this 100 just to make sure the vertical space and stuff is covered, but you get the idea. And the team we want to detect is team 1, and the message we want to send here is the message we are going to do to complete the quest, and that is quest.1. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Cool. And we're going to go ahead and add a plant on this one as well. And the plant we can just have kill.plant. Do I spawn this one out? I think I do. So we're going to make this one player 1 detect, and we'll go ahead and save that as a preset as well. Alright. Okay, and now we just need to remove these. And now we're going to add a asset spawner and make it a single player asset spawner. And that asset spawner is going to be detecting the tag. So what we're going to do here is add a volume. And the volume here is going to be specific tags in range, and you can just have it in a small range. It just needs to detect it coming out of the asset spawner. And the range, the tag we want to detect is, I think it's just tag 1. Is that what we made our tag? Let's have a look. So there's our tag preset. And we're looking for tag 1, so that's fine. So we'll go ahead and put that in. There's tag 1, cool beans. And when tag 1 is detected, we're going to send a message to trigger itself pretty much. So let's say here, trigger 1 detect, and we will send that to here. And what we want to bring out is the player 1 detect. We don't want it only once, or maybe you do, but in a multiplayer game, when players leave and new ones join, you don't want to have only once, because then it won't work for the next player. And we'll put this in the air as well so we can see when it actually spawns. And I think this is the one we can just keep here. So now we have 2 asset spawners. Let's recap. I'll save and recap exactly what's been going on here, and I think this is all we need now to make sure it works. Okay, let's recap. We have our multiplayer asset spawner. It triggers the message by the local number that we've assigned with a pickable. There are many ways to assign a local number. Pickable was just one of them. The avatar portal is another way. That sort of thing. Speakers can be another way. And when we roll a number 4, it's going to check our local number, and if we have a local number of 1, it's going to send a message trigger 1. trigger 1 will then bring out a tag. That tag will come out here. This volume here is going to detect the tag. When it detects the tag, it's going to bring out the player 1 detect. And the player 1 detect is that massive volume that covers the whole map. And it's going to listen for which team, which should be team 1. You can also change that so it's specific tags in range. And it can be tag 1, either one. So if you did team 1, it will detect everyone on the team. If you did specific tags, then you can individualize that. For me, the team didn't matter because I had 20 teams and each team has a unique tag. So you'll just have to change that based on what you want. Yeah, so next we need to basically check to see if this works now. So we're going to test it out and we're going to make sure we're player 1 for this to work. So you can see we're local number 3. If we press E until we get number 4, nothing's happening here because we're player 3. So let's go to player 1. We are now player 1. Yay! If we roll, you can see our quest on the right is not completed. And when we roll a number 4, you can see our tag came out and our quest completed. How about that? So the rule system directly resulted into the quest being completed. Now we do have this, this is still there, so we can get rid of that. That's the detect. So we'll go ahead and this one here, you can have a kill plant, right? Where can we kill a plant though? So maybe here. Because this tag that comes out kills itself after 3 seconds and it's detecting it with this volume, we can have a message get sent when it gets deleted, which can also then go ahead and kill plant. And we want it just in a small area though. You don't really want to have the whole map, just everyone in range and something like 3. So now when a tag comes out, after 3 seconds it will kill itself, and it will also cause the exit message to kill the other spawn here. Alright, and that keeps it clean. Sandra says, well, I would never find this workaround myself. Yeah, it took me quite a while to put this together. But as you can see, it works, right? So let me just get to player 1. Because it requires player 1 for this one, for this example. But we can expand and I'll show you on that. So after you press for RNG 4, there we go. You can see now the tag will disappear. It took the other thing with it and our quest is now complete. So the rules is definitely affecting the quest system. Now what you need here to expand on this is you don't need to change anything except for the trigger here and the detect. So if we do trigger 1 detect, it detects the tag and everything's done within range. So all you need to do here is duplicate with Control D, move it away a little bit because we have a range of 3. So everything in this bubble here will affect just in the bubble. You want to make sure these numpads are away from that bubble. Here we can just change it to trigger 2. we can kind of leave it as the same tag. You don't really need to change anything except for this preset. So if we grab this detection and we just change it from player 1 to player 2, and what we can do here is change our team detect, or again, it can be specific tags in range, doesn't have to be team. But if we do team 2, and then all we do here is save it as a preset, and then we can do team 3, and save this as a preset. So here we need to bring out, instead of player 1 detect, it'll be player 2 detect. And I don't think this one needs to really change, but we can test that out. And if we duplicate this, move it away, give it some gap, make this one trigger 3. It will bring out the tag, and that's fine. And when a tag's detected, this one will bring out detect 3, and the same thing is going to happen. So we'll go ahead and save that. And now you'll see that each individual player, doesn't matter if they're team 1, 2, or 3, they have their own set of tags. So everyone in the map can do their own quest. So this one is player 2. If player 2 rolls a 4, you can see the second one here comes out, and now my quest is complete. If I'm player 3 and I roll a 4, you can see it's come out for player 3, and my quest on the right is complete. So if we have 3 players on the map, we have player 1, player 2, and player 3. They all have their local numbers. Whoever decides to roll will be the one that triggers their own, and it won't affect the other ones. So that means it won't complete the quest for everybody else, but just for the individual. And you can expand on that. So if you have 2 quests, you do need to duplicate these and create separate message systems or have toggles for different quests. So the middleman between multiplayer and single player is the tag numpad without any behavior. Let me bring out the tag. So it has a behavior. It has a behavior to destroy itself after 3 seconds. It doesn't need to have a behavior. It just needs the tag. But keeping it clean is also good. So I did it like this. So this is the method I did just to keep things clean and recyclable. But what I found is what's important here is that the existing detection of that tag needs to be single player. So this can't be spawned in later on from a multiplayer asset. Needs to be already in the map. And the single player asset spawner is the thing that brings out the detection. So you saw at the start of the stream that when I brought out the single player volume that completed the quest from the multiplayer asset spawner, it didn't work. But if I bring that same volume out in a single player asset spawner, it does work. So instead of bringing it out in a multiplayer, I'm bringing it out in a single player. And to force that single player to come out from a multiplayer action, the multiplayer action brings out a tag, and that tag is detected by the single player, which then brings out a volume single player, which then works. So that is the trick for it, in order to get that communication working. And now this allows you to have individual quests in multiplayer experiences until the objectives gets put into the rules. And I know this is going to help a lot of experiences out, because it is been trying to be solved by a lot of developers, including internally inside the sandbox. So this is something pretty innovative and unique, hasn't been done yet. So enjoy. I hope this is clear enough in regards to being able to replicate this yourselves. Probably need to play around with the team settings though. So if you wanted to have like 9 players on the map, you're gonna have 3 people on one team, 3 on the other, and you can't give people on the same team individual tags, but you can use the pickable. And when you use the pickable, you need a way to pick up the pickable, and once it's picked up, spawn a new one. So when next player that joins in will be getting the next pickable in line, and that might have a different number like 2 and 3, and this one might be 4, 5, 6, and this one might be 7, 8, 9. But that one requires a lot of R&D, research and development, just to get things working smoothly. I haven't really played with this concept, but I can see how it can work using asset spawners and things of that nature. So if you had this, say, somewhere hidden from the player, so they can't see it, it's just hidden somewhere under the map, wherever the case may be, and it's looking for local number 1. What we can do here is we've got pick 1, and we can have a volume trigger, and it is listening for the tag pick 1, and when it leaves the area, spawn new pick 1. So when the player joins the map, this will leave the area. When it leaves the area, it will send a message, spawn new pick 1. And what you can do here is you can literally duplicate that, or you can just have it on top. It sends a message, spawn new pick 1. We'll just send it to itself, and we can go ahead and spawn a new pickable. And this one here can be a unique number compared to this one. So this one might be number 1, and when it disappears, it could spawn in another one that has number 2 on it. So when the next player joins, it's picked up and given me number 1, and the next person that joins team 1 will be picking up this one here ready, which will have a separate number. So that's the workaround I'd probably would experiment with if I was to try to get a team system working, but have individual numbers for each team member on the same team. So I think that would work. Hey Tempest, thanks for the raid. Welcome everyone. So that's how you can get the rules system to communicate with the quest system. So everyone can have their own unique quests in a multiplayer game, and everyone can complete them based on multiplayer behaviors or multiplayer rules, or a result of the rule system. So if I roll a 4, this will come out, and now my quest is complete, as you can see. So the RNG in the rule system can trigger a completion of the quest. Yay! So that's my latest discovery, guys. I hope you enjoyed that one, because yeah, I'm pretty proud of that discovery. I think it's pretty cool. I've already implemented it in my game, so I spent the last 3 days making sure that I squished some bugs, made it as easy as possible and smooth. So in my experience, I have 20 players on a map. I have set this up 20 times, and I have 20 comparisons here, looking for 20 different triggers. So it's all checking the individual locals. And I don't use RNG to send a message. I have like a thing that needs to be completed. But yeah. And again, if you have any questions or want refining, let me know, because I'm happy to help and do some more R&D on this one. Alrighty. Any questions or anything you want me to answer or try to figure out for you? Doesn't have to be related to this rule system. It can be completely something different that you're working on. I know some people who are struggling with the tower defense template, so I might go over that quickly for the people that need to fix that up. So I'm going to hop out of that, and we will bring up a template. Vvox says, what do you mean about tag with collectibles in the rule system? I didn't use collectibles in this case, I use pickables, but it's basically sending a message argument to the rule system that gives the person a unique variable. So I've shown this in the lobby system. So when I've made streams in the past showing you how to make a lobby system, you use a collectible. That collectible gives that player a unique number. So when you do teleporting or triggering something, you can send them to a unique location or send a unique message, as you see in this stream, to trigger their own message argument. Asset spawner, which then sends their own volume to come out, which then triggers to complete a quest. So, tower defense, where are we? Categories, gaming. I haven't looked for this in a while. I don't even know if the tower defense template's in this category. I assumed it would be. Cooking simulator, boot camp template, resource management. Maybe it's on page 2. Tower defense, yay. Alright, I'll bring this up because I've seen a lot of people chat about this template, and there's a few things that have stopped working. When this template was developed, plant was a behavior, and now it's moved over to a component, and it's broke a few things, along with other stuff that can be altered. So we'll go through that together. And then I can link this stream to the people that need help. Alright, so here is our good old tower defense template. Now I know a couple of things have broken, so we'll go ahead and identify those. Alright, so I think money ticks straight away. We want the money to only turn on when the first building is built, so we'll talk about that. And also, when you build a totem and place it down, they disappear, and that's because of that plant behavior problem. So the totems have stopped working, the victory screen doesn't trigger, and the money turns on straight away. So we're going to go ahead and pretty much fix that. Okay, so the victory screen here, this is the reason why it doesn't work because this preset is missing for the victory. And I don't know what that preset was, but what you can do is just remove that, or you can just put in a victory here, and on victory that should work. Next we can go to inspector and we type in money, and we can click the money, and we've got money totem. This is not the thing that we want. Maybe it's gold. No, maybe it is money. Receiving money, add money. Okay, so it's loading up the rules. And hopefully it takes us to the money section. It didn't really do that. Ah, here it is. So we've got add money, but it's not what we want. It's got to be somewhere here, right? Menus, towers. I forgot where I put it. I haven't opened up this template in a while. Is it this thing? So we've got the victory here as well. Group victory, delay. That should be fine. So if we go to victory and the things that are receiving victory, we've got the banner. And we've got the thing that sends it. So the thing that sends it is incorrect. So check end game, and we want wave 30 countdown. If it equals to 30, then we want to send the message victory. At the moment it is set up so it's 20, but the message to trigger this is killed wave 30. So when the message killed wave 30 is sent, the wave 30 countdown won't be equal to 20, it'll be equal to 30, which is why it's not triggering the victory screen. So changing that to 30 should work. And then that sends a message victory, and then that whole victory thing should trigger as well, because this wasn't sending. But where's the gold problem? Where was that? We do need to find that one. I don't know where I put that message broadcaster. Maybe we can check in the logic counter. Behavior, and we got message broadcasters. AOE mobs, money totems, slow totems. Isn't that funny? I don't even know where the where I put the thing that ticks up the gold. Spawn money totem, money totem. It's all money totems. It is this thing here. Alright, so at the start of the game, this thing is sending a message instantly. All you need to do here to stop that is to put in a toggle and just turn this off. That's it. And that will solve that issue. So that should solve those main three problems of this template. So the victory should be settled. the money shouldn't be going up. As you can see, it's 20 instead of 21. And also now when we build a totem, it shouldn't, oh wait, the totem's the next thing we need to fix. So you can see the totem disappeared and it's not working. Let's fix that up quickly. And that's the last thing. Hello, loading. All right, there we go. So if we go to our totems, is it here? Okay, we'll move this out of the way. Okay, so here we got a plant, and the plant has moved from behavior to component. You can see the toggle is meant to be toggling it off, but as you can see, that toggle doesn't work anymore because the plant is a component. So all you need to do here is just move the totem out of the way, select the one that has, so this one has message broadcaster and the other one here has plant. The one that has plant, all you need to do is add a message broadcaster, and the message to destroy isn't going to be kill fire totem. Well, it kind of still can, but what you can do here is kill fire totem, and message to self, and it can be kill F totem or whatever the case may be, and that one can be to the self, and then you put it on here. So now the toggle is toggling on the message broadcaster, which then kills the plant. So, and then all you do is stack them back up, and then you just save over the preset. Select the one that has everything as the parent, and then you copy that and paste it, and that is, this one's fire totem placeable. I think it's just fire totem, and done. So now when we test this out, we should be able to buy a fire totem and place it without it disappearing. And you just do the same thing here with the earth totem. I think I called it earth totem. So we'll build our tower, and now we'll build our fire totem, and we should be able to just place it down. Yep, and you can see the fire totem is now doing damage, and it's not disappearing straight away. And that's just because of the plant. And you just do the same thing exactly with the totem next to it. Alright, Sandra says, I have a question about number inputs. Pressing number on a numeric keyboard doesn't work. Only number on the top row of the main key area registered. Will this be fixed in the next? Okay, so keypads on the right don't work. Interesting. Not all keyboards, especially laptops, have a numpad on the right. So it probably was just defaulted to the keys on the top, but it's definitely something you can put in as feedback in the form. But I do know that numpad keys on the right are different when it comes to input than the keyboard numbers on the top. So 1 is 1, 2 is 2 along the top. But on the right, it's num1, num2, num3. So they're technically different key inputs. But I do not know anything further than that when it comes to are they going to do something about it? Probably wasn't even thought of. Probably didn't think it was necessary. So just leave some feedback and maybe some examples of why it might be useful, and they might put it on a roadmap. So same thing here, you just add a message broadcaster to change the plant. So the plant is now a component, so we want to make sure that we are not killing it straight away, and we want to put this here, kill S totem, and we put that here. And same thing, you just put this over the top. This is a slow totem. I call it an earth totem. And we just need to get under there and select that numpad with the slow totem. Just make sure it's the master one that's moving all of them. And we'll go ahead and save over the preset of slow totem, and that's done. So the three things that need fixing in this template are the totems that I just showed there. The money totem here needs to have a toggle and toggle off if you don't want money to be ticking as soon as the game, before the game even begins. And to change the victory message from 20 to 30. If you change those things, it should fix up all the problems on the map. But I think that's it for today's stream, guys. Unless you have any other questions or requests, I think I gave some good info in this stream that's useful. And if you have any further inquiries or issues, let me know. I'm happy to do some R&D and work out how to do things that are obscure and random, such as the quests and the rule system triggering each other. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll probably see you guys next week. I request you have a good day. Thanks for streaming good stuff as always. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, have a great day. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.